Hey everyone, and welcome back to A Warrior's Garden. It's good to have you back. It's been a little bit since I've done an update video on the garden. This is spring 2022. To be exact, it's in March. And I just want to show you what we've done, the big changes that have happened. The garden's a lot different than you guys have seen in the past, and things are improving. I'm really happy with some of the differences and some of the big changes that have occurred just in a year's time. So with that, let's get on with it and bring you out to the garden. Okay, so a lot of it you recognize, the raised beds and everything, but things have definitely looked healthier this year. First of all, I want to show you on the right here what we've done. I've moved my garbage. It's no longer located in this area, and I'm putting rainwater catch barrels. Eventually I'm going to catch the rainwater off here, and it's going to come down into a second barrel over here, but they're fairly expensive. I've got one now that's full of water. That's my backup water in case they start doing limitations on what we can use water for because of the drought situation, but hopefully it'll work out and I can keep my garden going. Over here, this hasn't really changed much, but the composter has done fantastic, and I've got a lot of compost out of there. That is all going to move eventually to the back, and in this area here I want to put blackberries, I think, or I'm going to find something to put here. I want to make this back as aesthetically pleasing and productive as possible. So starting in the front, so these are just flowers. That's a flower one of my wife's students gave her that I transplanted here. Another flower that she got, that's lavender, and that's chamomile. That one came up on its own. We had chamomile there last year. The heat eventually killed it off, but on its own we got chamomile again. That's kind of cool. I'm pretty happy about that. So in the raised beds, what do we got going here? Well, you'll notice my hodgepodge netting. That's because I had little varmints decided that they needed salad as well, rascals. But I had to quickly put something together. I apologize for the whatever you want to call it, the MacGyvering, but it works. So this is cabbage. Cabbage is looking really good, and down at that end is pak choy, toy choy. We've harvested a fair amount, but it's quickly going to seed. I'm going to have to do something about that. Went to seed faster than I anticipated, but it's really good. Over here we have peas. They're happy. They're doing well. Growing right up my makeshift trellises. Yeah, I look forward to when I can actually... Ooh, look at here. I've actually got my first flower forming right there. So it won't be too long and I'll have peas to eat. My grapes look fantastic. I am really happy with how those grapes look. Yeah, that makes me really happy. So hopefully, and it looks like we got lots and lots of grapes coming in. So you see the grapes up here, we got lots of grapes coming in. And down here, backing up a little bit, and I apologize, it's in the evening, it's starting to get dark. I should have probably did this earlier. My moringa tree is coming out of being frost bit. We did have a pretty decent frost, and it hurt it, unfortunately. It killed my other one, I think. We'll talk about that in a minute. So here's my other raised beds. Now, one of the changes isn't going to be real obvious, but this raised bed I moved it this way about a foot, and now it's all symmetrical, which makes me much happier. And in that raised bed we have radishes. These are long white radishes. Then over here you can just see the green whiskers. That is green onions. It's hard to see because they were eating this stuff too. And carrots. And that's my red grapes there. They're a little slower than the green grapes, but they're looking pretty happy this year. So over in this bed over here, we have my chilies. My peppers have all come out of dormancy. I didn't pull them out, I just let them go and trimmed the dead back. Frost got them a little bit, but they're coming out, and I'm hoping they produce again good this year. tomatoes that I planted from the store. One of them's got something going on. I'm gonna have to look at it. I can see, just looking right now, that there's something going on over there. Eggplant, I had to trim back the dead off that. Hopefully this year it'll produce well. It did last year. And these are potatoes. Those are some potatoes we had from the store that started to sprout. We threw them in the ground. I've done that before and had pretty good success. We'll see how these ones do, but you can see where all of them have come up, except maybe I think there's one that hasn't come up at all. But overall, they're looking really good so far, and I should have some potatoes later on. Okay, so let's talk about dragon fruit. The dragon fruit are doing tremendous. We've had some problems, had some learning lessons, but you know what? They're staying on top of things. Hey, Mr. Al. That's my buddy that helps keep the varmints out. But you can see the dragon fruit are starting to come up over the trellis. They're growing like gangbusters right now because it's warmed up into the 80s. And they like that. The sage is doing well. The basil is coming back out. The thyme is doing better. I have 2 cuttings of dragon fruit. This little guy actually came off a yellow dragon fruit I got from an Asian market. It's not died, but it's not grown. So I don't know if it's going to actually produce anything. I'd like it to, but we'll have to see. And then this dragon fruit, as you can see, is coming up over the top as well. Yeah, and so this year I should have them draping over the top, and eventually it's going to be really pretty. And hopefully produce lots of dragon fruit. All right, into the backyard. So I got loads of oranges this year. Got a few left, and now the tree's getting ready to bloom. The fig tree is coming out of dormancy. You can see right there that it's coming out. The whole yard is doing better. I need to mow the lawn. This is my moringa. I think is dead, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it freezes harder back here. I've got a little better microclimate in the vegetable garden. Between those walls, it doesn't freeze like it does back here. But I think it froze too much, and I think it killed my little moringa, which I'm bummed about. It was looking really healthy last year, and I think I've lost it. Makes me want to cry, but that's okay. Well, not really, but still makes me sad. All right, pomegranate. Pomegranate looks healthy, doing well. Produced lots of pomegranates for us last year, and should produce even more. I did some trimming, some pruning when it was dormant. That should hopefully cause it to produce even better. We shall see. That is my Pahoya, or pineapple guava. It is growing really well. Last year it was kind of stuck, kind of didn't grow, didn't die, but this year it's definitely growing. Definitely has grown more in the spring for sure. I planted it kind of late last year, and that was probably why. And then here we have the apricot. It's coming out of dormancy. You can see little flowers forming and buds forming, and it's a little slower than I thought it'd be, but hey, it's coming along. I can see leaves coming along. I can see flowers on it right there. Lemons did fantastic. More lemons than I can eat. I even gave lots of lemons away, and we're just lemoned out, but they are wonderful lemons. I don't know if you can see those. That's a small one, but back in there I've got some pretty big monsters, and lots on the ground. And then that orange tree produced absolutely fantastic oranges. They were just beautiful, beautiful oranges. Made me really happy. All right, so that's the garden. Sorry for the little bit darker video. It is in the evening. I'll see if I can doctor it up and make it a little better. But I appreciate you joining me with this garden tour. And I'm glad you were along for this. I always enjoy having every one of you here. So hopefully, gives you hope for your own garden. Gives me hope. I was worried, and I wasn't too sure where I was going to go with things this year, but I'm glad I kept it going. I have some big news. It's some very difficult news that I will share later, that will affect my garden temporarily. So, but I'll share that later. But anyhow, until then, God bless and stay safe. The Warrior's Garden is out.